Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to take you on a tour of my unfinished and very much work in progress grimoire, plus a look inside a few other magical journals I've kept. A grimoire is traditionally a book of spells, magical theory, and rituals, but you'll see that mine is a little bit more personal and stream of consciousness. It doesn't follow a specific old system or tradition. It's more of a reflection of how I practice my magic and process my hurdles in real life. And I want to share a little bit of that practice with you today. This is my current grimoire. I designed the cover for this one, working with an old beige spiral notebook I had lying around. This was such a grounding ritual. I chose the colors intentionally, added texture with wax from my favorite rose candle, and drew protection sigils I created myself. The sticker of the witch is from one of my favorite bookshops and felt like a reflection of my most powerful, confident self. Like I immediately loved her when I saw it. And I wanted this grimoire to really be a return to self and for me to feel that every time I looked at the cover. So the first two pages of my grimoire are like a peek into my spirit. You'll see a lot of my Leo sun energy here, like the photo of a lion I took on my 18th birthday, symbols of the sun, and my cathartic doodles, plus a little initiating poem / spell that introduces who I am at the top. The reader being me, of course, and maybe one day someone I choose to pass this down to. A key theme that keeps coming up for me in my magical practice is a return to my inner child, so you'll see a lot of that innocent experimentation, play, and sort of stream of consciousness, like I mentioned before, throughout. It's like a return to little me in so many ways. When I'm not processing oracle and tarot readings, writing spells and poems, I am thinking about my past and my childhood, which is why early on you'll see photos of my childhood yard, which was such an important part of my life and where I discovered my love for magic. There at the beginning of the grimoire, I feel like it tells a more chronological story, moving from my past into my present and future. A lot of this is written in code. I fear I did not make this super reader friendly. Who is the court jester I'm referring to in this page? The world may never know. Some of it is very difficult to decipher, and some of it's really on the nose. For example, on this page I write, "Letting myself float down the river, it's not so bad when you remember you have more power over your story than you know, as long as you know." Again, little reminders throughout each page of my progress, moving into this more self-actualized version of myself, which is really the alchemy and magic I'm creating throughout each page of the grimoire. In these few pages, I infused specific crystals on my altar with spells for specific people in my life. I drew each of them and wrote the specific spells for all of them. When it comes to writing spells in my grimoire, I will often research specific spells that I'm looking for, and then other times I will create them completely from scratch based on what I know and the properties of some of the ingredients that I want to use or what I have available to me. For example, I created one for self-love based on these rose petals that I had on my altar, and that was a really fun process. I included paint water for one of the abstract paintings that I had done that I felt really represented that confidence, and ultimately created something that I felt represented what confidence and self-love might look like for me. And that's basically how I go about my spell work in my grimoire. Some of them are researched really heavily, some of them are done more intuitively, and it looks different every time. And then there are plenty of pages that are more informative about specific properties, moon cycles, the wheel of the year, different crystals and herbs, and those are obviously a little bit more informative and pages that I can always refer back to when I need to remember certain things. Yeah, I just really allow myself to fall into a trance of mysticism, and I get really excited about this. I feel like I'm in my own little wizardry school. And for any on-the-go magic, I keep this smaller little grimoire and journal on me at all times to press herbs and flowers into as I go on my nature walks and my adventures. And it's a great place to jot down any ideas for larger spells or rituals I can do in my grimoire back home. You tend to lean towards journals, if I'm not creating my own covers, with covers that already kind of have that mystical vibe. I've seen a lot of people with this blue sun celestial journal actually in the community, and I don't blame them because it's gorgeous. And this was probably my first grimoire attempt, although it was more of a personal journal, but with a lot of magical reflections inside. And that's it for today, my loves. Thank you so much for stepping into this little corner of my magic with me. My grimoire is always evolving, just like me, and I hope it reminds you that your spiritual path doesn't have to look perfect to be powerful. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe for more witchy, creative, and reflective content. And I'd love to know, do you guys keep a grimoire or journal? What do you include in yours? Let me know in the comments. I hope you guys continue to make your own magic, and I'll see you next time. Bye!